Everyone, and welcome to another Drama is Life. I am your host, Theresa White, licensed mental health counselor and registered drama therapist. We have been doing Drama is Life podcast for about 4 years. So come on in. Lips were chapped, so we gotta get the lips together, y'all. Can't have chapped lips. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you guys join us for another topic. We have been talking about stress awareness. With April being Stress Awareness Month, it's really important because, especially since Drama is Life discusses mental and social topics to address the stigma that's surrounding mental health, the barriers that get in the way of African Americans and faith based communities addressing those things. A lot of it is regarding not knowing our stress signals, or even if we do know them, how to respond to them. We are just kind of ignoring them and moving through them. So tonight, I just want to have a conversation. Don't plan to, have a long conversation because I think we all can identify with some of these anger warning signs we're going to talk about tonight. So, does anybody in here slam doors when they get, frustrated, irritated? We talked about HALT on our previous episodes, and we know the A is for anger. And so when that anger signal or status is up, a lot of the thinking drops. So anyone ever had that situation come about where it's been, maybe you slam doors, maybe you stomp? Was you one of those children who turned around and when you was mad, you huffed and puffed? They called it pouting when we were younger, and you got yelled at sometimes because you was, you sighed a little too loud. Don't you sigh too loud. Y'all remember that? Don't sigh too loud. You're like, can't even sigh in this house. maybe it was just me. But again, that was something that we may not have realized it, but it was absolutely an anger sign. That, a sign that anger is present, even if I don't always know why I'm angry. Most of the time as a child, you knew why you couldn't go outside, couldn't get no cookies, your friend couldn't come over, you couldn't spend a night. Child things, most child things. So I want to just ask, do you know? And if you do, what's one thing that somebody can know, that they would see or experience if you were angry? And I'm going to give you, I have several different signals and triggers to know. But I want to tell you, this is one of those things that most people can pick it up really quick. Oh, what's wrong with you? You mad? No, what's wrong? Right? Or why do you say that? Because it's more of an outward expression of an emotion. So we know, or we can pick up a lot easier this stress signal than we can other ones, such as the hungry stress signal. Because typically this is kind of joined with hungry and we see hangry. So I'm going to give you just a few that somebody may know, but we know that it can affect the system. It affects mind, body, and emotions. So good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that you are joining. Hi, BJ. Hi, Terry. Hi, Mother Nellum. Hello. Yes, you. I see the comment. Yes, you absolutely do get whipped if you sigh too loud. And it was, you know why that happened though? Because your parent or whoever was the guardian at the time, and you will see me talking to different ones that you may not see, but because I'm on different platforms with our Drama is Life podcast tonight. But I want to let you know, I was somebody that got yelled at if you sigh too loud, if you huff too hard, and don't dare stomp too loud. Now, you can look back at childhood and laugh at those things now because you remember as a child the times you probably was frustrated with your parent. Being told no is absolutely an anger warning sign. If you didn't know that already, being told no, something that you really want, can instantly anger somebody. And so you may hear a couple of doors slam, but don't you slam a door too loud if you're a child, because most parents, especially if you grew up with parents from what we call old school, and I absolutely did, you didn't slam doors because you ain't paying for no door. Every door in this house belongs to me. You heard the whole extra spiel of why you don't slam doors. So you just went to your room and you huffed and maybe talked to your sister or your brother about why you're mad because your friend can't come over, because you can't go outside, because of whatever, right? Whatever the reason is that you got told no. Trigger number one. So huffing, absolutely. In children, you see that, but that happens in adults too. And sometimes we don't always want to admit that we can sigh a little loud. We can sigh hard. You look over, Theresa, you okay? I'm fine. Um, so sighing in denial could be absolutely a warning sign for someone being angry. And I will give a disclaimer right now. People don't always know what their signals are. Sometimes people have been angry so long, anger runs so deep that it's become kind of like a singe. You know, you can get burned over and over again to the point that you don't have feeling in that spot anymore because it's been so brazened is the word I guess I want to say, or tarnished. I don't say tarnished, but like can't think of the word, but basically like where you have harmed something so much that it just loses feeling. It's numb. That happens to our system emotionally as well. We can have moments where we are just numb. And anger is absolutely one of those emotions that if it sits too long, it can leave you numb to things that should absolutely bother you, absolutely have a response from you. Because I will say anger is not a negative emotion. People look at it like, oh, we don't want to be around people who are angry because they typically are aggressive, or they have those the myth of anger is that if you're angry, you're going to fight somebody, you're going to get physical, you're going to hurt something, you're going to tear up a room, you're going to become destructive in some type of way, which that may not be the case at all. There are plenty of people, and some of them probably can tell you, plenty of people who have been angry who didn't destroy a room, who didn't have to fight anybody or didn't fight anybody, but that anger was absolutely present. And so when I say that you can get really singed, if you don't deal with the anger, because the anger comes because it's trying to pinpoint something. So it's there for a reason. And we're going to get to that reason in just a minute. I'll wait till I tell you a few of these signals or signs. So I'm going to give you 5 of them. So we got the hard sighing. I said the heavier, fast breathing. So think about the children. What? Ain't nobody running no marathon in here. And I'm talking to my people who are kind of over here. I don't see them, but my people in the corner, I kind of got my own audience over here. I've kind of heard jokes about that in the past with some family members, but like I got my own little silent audience over here. But it's like, nobody, ain't no marathon. Why you huffing? You ain't done no running. You ain't been up no stairs. You ain't exercised. There's no reason for you to huff and puff. Right? So you heard those kinds of statements, but absolutely anger, because it starts to bring up certain hormones in the system. Depending on what you're angry about, it can release the system's response to either fight or some kind of way you're charged. Not necessarily physically fight, but you're charged. So your breath is also charged, and it's really short, or what we call shallow. Right? So you hear that people are like, nah, we don't do that in here. You ain't gonna do no heavy breathing in my house if again, if your parents didn't allow that. You can also, people can start to feel hot. So that's one of those internal ones that you can notice that people start get hot under the collar. They start moving their, shirt over, trying to let some air get in, or you can just feel the heat that rises either in your neck, in your face. Some people, if you don't have the brown skin like some, like I do, or I don't get red because I'm too brown to get red. But some people's face turns beet red, or you can see the blood, because that's just talking about the blood that's coming to their face, because blood is going to rush wherever there is activation in the body. So when your system gets activated, blood is saying, oh, I got to go there. We got to give it some charge. We got to give it some nutrients, some help. And so it's going to send blood. So sometimes it comes to your face because you are thinking or feeling this anger. So that's one. Sometimes with anger, as we said, people turn red, they're heavy breathing. There's also parts of the face that you may not always see a color change. but you can see a tension change in the face and sometimes in the eyes. When somebody's talking to you and you just like, you got this look on your face and it's this intense stare. And for those of us who are parents, you ever had those intense stares from across the room? And I don't think they're just mother stares, but my mother absolutely has one. That if you were cutting up and they didn't want to say a word or they didn't want to yell across the room, they was looking at you and you knew you can again that heat, you can feel the fire looking your way, and they would look and there was an intense stare. Sometimes and you knew immediately that there was an anger because you were behaving in a way that I am not okay with, that is not pleasant to our family name or to what I've taught you, etc. And so it can bring up that anger. So people can have these facial expressions that show I'm not happy right now, and I'm not in a pleasant space right now. And so facial expressions, the intention of the eyes, a stare, with a person can seem like they are being aggressive, but they may not be. That just may be right now where you can see that. And sometimes you see this eye kind of close a little bit, the left eye. In this case for y'all, it's my right eye, but y'all may see it as my left. The right eye is kind of squinting, closing a little bit. That can be absolutely, it's kind of like, and you're trying to keep your eye together, but it just keep closing because you trying to maybe not see what you're seeing or not feel what you're feeling. One of the ones that people don't really realize that happens, that was my third one. Number 4, people get real quiet. What we call shut down. And that's that people can ask you questions. How you doing? You okay? What's wrong? And again, because you maybe have been angry so long or sinned so long, you don't even realize that you're angry until somebody points it out. Theresa, I'm gonna keep using my own name. Theresa, you okay? Huh? Yeah, I'm okay. Now, if I really was to take a moment, a pause, as we talked about what's recognizing our stress signals, if at moments I took time to pause, I may respond and say, no, I'm not. I'm not okay. I'm not and okay, depending on what you mean by okay, do you mean happy? Do you mean stressed? No, right now I'm irritated or I'm frustrated or I'm angry about something. I'm angry because I was interrupted. I'm angry because, this is, I'm got a bill in the mail. I don't know, whatever the anger is. Anger because I told no, right? So sometimes that getting quiet can be used for a good thing, but it's in a lot of cases, it's a warning sign for a lot of people when it comes to being angry. Everybody's not screaming, everybody's not yelling, everybody's not fussing when they get angry. Some people completely get quiet because they're watching their words. For some people, they may be what you say is shutting down because they're trying to guard and even analyze the space. Sometimes they very recluse and kind of go into themselves because maybe they didn't have a safe space to release anger. Because maybe anger is, in most cases, as we already know, especially in our males, are not seen as a great thing to display, right? And women, depending on if you are, most women get this negative stigma or tag on them that you are a negative name. I won't say what that name is, but some of them are like angry Black women, that you are snotty, that you are all kind of things if you are angry. So some people don't want to show that anger. So they try to watch their facial expressions. They're trying to do all these things so they just get quiet, get real quiet. And they maybe get quiet for a while. The danger that this signal or warning sign can show is if it's there too long, people can get used to this pattern of being quiet and not expressing that they're angry, not expressing the reason why they're angry. And then it's used as a destruction. As we've talked about before within relationships, sometimes it can be used as what you call the silent treatment. Not because, hey, I'm telling my partner, give me a minute. I need to kind of cool down before we talk so I can watch my words, because that's still communicating my need. In this case, when you're angry and it's used in a destructive manner, we're called, it's called giving the silent treatment. I'm going to walk around and I'm going to purposely be quiet. And because I want you to see that I'm quiet. You're going to know I'm not talking to you. That's destructive. That's unhealthy, especially if the other person, whether it's your child, a sibling, your partner, a family member, a friend, whoever is in your space on professionally, if they don't know why you're angry, but you're going to make it a point that I'm going to let you know I'm mad. Just get quiet. And I got facial expressions, as a drama therapist, I can, eyes are rolling, and maybe sometimes you clanking things, slamming dishes. So physically, you're still releasing and trying to show I'm angry. But verbally, you have not given any reason of such. That's when it gets dangerous. And can be, and I say dangerous because it can be destructive to this relationship. Because then people have to try to guess what's going on. They're asking you, "Are you okay, Theresa?" I'm fine. While I'm still slamming things around. Wait, what? So when we talk about stress signals, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Be angry." So the anger itself is not a problem in itself, but sin not, which means don't use anger as a cause to hurt somebody on purpose. Don't use anger to harm somebody physically, emotionally, verbally. So when I'm angry, instead of getting quiet, my fifth one that I'm gonna tell you about, I'm gonna lash out at verbally. I'm gonna start saying all kind of things to you. And you're like, what in the world? Again, everybody's not yelling, everybody's not screaming, but you know that somebody may be angry because they become argumentative and they could be insulting. And you're like, what? Okay. And we call it getting short, right? Sometimes it's like, I'm fine. What? No, I said I'm fine. Got it. Oh, all right, Theresa, we're done. Right? And because the communication, that shutdown is happening, I'm getting quiet on things that I should be opening up about, or at least saying, I'm not okay right now, but give me some time. I want to go get to myself, pray. I'm going to get quiet and whatever that is that helps me to be able to, kind of come back to homeostasis and calm myself back down. Then I'll come back and talk to you about what brought on anger. Because that's the healthy interaction that a lot of times when we talk about these stress signals, especially in our African American and faith-based communities, we didn't get that. You got scolded for being angry. You got told anger is wrong. Anger lies in the bosom of fools. And that's absolutely a scripture, and that's true. If it stays there and it's not dealt with, you can become, or not become, you can start to do foolish things. Because again, you're singed. I don't feel this. This ain't bothering me no more. And because it's not bothering me, I become destructive with it. And I'm going to now harm you. And maybe what that actions that I'm doing or lack of action that I'm doing is not even affecting me anymore because I let it sit so long. So that's why it's important that when you get quiet, that getting quiet, that's one of your warning signs that it's only for a short time. And you communicate with whoever your loved one is, whoever you're around, that, and even if you're not around somebody, I live by myself. I ain't got to tell nobody that I'm, that I'm quiet. Well, that's not always the case because people can go silent when people are calling them for days and they don't know what's going on. So it can bring stress to others. So it's important to say, hey, I'm just not in a talking mood right now and I'm okay. I will call you back once I calm down. Because people may say, what's going on? But again, I'm not in a talking mood right now. I'll call you back when I calm down. At least I know you're alive. I know you're safe because you said so. And I ain't got to keep blowing your phone up or trying to come and knock on your door to find out what's going on. Even if you live alone, you can still communicate to those loved ones who are trying to reach out to you that you may need some space. But again, let that space be healthy space. When that silence turns into days and weeks, it's becoming unhealthy because you should not be silent for weeks. Again, even if it's something, it can be something really serious. I'm not saying it's not a serious thing to be silent about that you may have, but it still should be communicated. I'm still struggling to talk right now. I'm still struggling to come up with words to describe, and again, maybe it's hurt that I really feel, but I'm angry that I've been hurt. And so I'm struggling to come up with those words. But if we are not able to even recognize the sign, we'll keep the destruction pattern going. I'm gonna be silent and then I'm gonna take it out and slam doors, or I'm a huff. It's children. In that case, we were making fun. I made jokes about being a child and doing it, but that child was really trying to communicate something. I want you to know I'm not happy with your no. That you tell me no that I can't go to my friend's house, or you tell me no that I can't do A, B, and C. You're gonna absolutely know that I'm mad at you, mom. I'm mad at you, dad. Mad sister, brother, whoever's in the house. So children are huffing and slamming things, and you see that as an immaturity, because that's saying you don't have the words to tell me what's going on. That's absolutely understandable. But then I'm going to bring you into a space to give you a chance to communicate. Now you can say it's not okay as a parent. Nope, it's not okay to slam my doors. If you're angry, I'm gonna give you a moment to sit down and think about it. And when you're ready to talk to me, I'll be in the other room. That don't mean my answer is gonna change. It still may absolutely be no. But I welcome you to still come and talk to me about your emotions, because when we don't have that practice, we practice shutting down. We practice getting quiet for too long. We practice insulting people. We practice becoming argumentative. And we're not saying debate. There's a way to have a healthy debate. But argumentative is no, 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 no. And again, that's another form of that shutting down. And so these are just a few warning signs that you may see when we talk about stress awareness, and for you to monitor those. We talk about the face getting red. Sometimes it may not be your face, it may be your hands that get red. People, can kind of ball their fists up. And that may not be that they're ready to fight, but they're trying to, again, hold something. What do hands do? They hold, trying to hold this, in. And their hands are showing what's really going on internally. So, hands may get red or face red, heavy breathing or fast breathing. Somebody, facial expressions change, so they're staring at you, glaring at you. Get quiet, or what we say is shut down, and it can become argumentative. So it's really important for you to be able to watch that. I'll give you a bonus one. I know I said 5. I'll give you a bonus one. It may be somebody may get so angry that they start crying. Sometimes we can see tears as sadness. People start crying, or you see tears as anger. And there's some people who have said to me that I've worked with before, if I ever start crying in anger, that is a danger sign. You do want to. They know their warning signs well enough, because we've worked on it with them. They know it well enough that if they start to cry in anger, that it's time for them to be alone or to get away from people. Because whoever they are around, for whatever reason, there may be times that people do become increasingly able to be aggressive, or I'm that mad that I'm crying, then that heightens it for some people. So they say, if you see a tear, get away from me. And so again, that's communicating that boundary. This is what I need from you, and that's okay. In that case, it's okay, because then I know, I'm gonna go step away, let you have some space. Again, it's not okay for you to destroy anything, but that anger is still being worked on, and you're not shutting it down, getting quiet, and we have no idea what's going on with you. So anger absolutely is a very, very common emotion. And I said I was going to tell you one of the reasons why anger shows up. Anger shows up to let you know that something is conflicting with one of your values. Think about that for a minute. People get angry because something is conflicting with the value of theirs. If I value sleep and you wake me up early in the morning, I may get frustrated. You may see me huffing. Because I value my sleep, right? If I value my food or nutrition and you're picking up off my plate, people get angry. If I value friendships and every time I ask you, can I go hang out with a friend, you say no, it's conflicting. So anger is there to point to something that needs to be addressed. My value is being shut down, or not being honored, not being respected. And there's an absolute respect and healthy flow to be able to do that within relationships, especially when there's a mutuality in relationships with a spouse, a dating partner, siblings, that kind of thing. So sometimes you think, no, I can't, don't be mad. No, that's why the scripture says, be angry. There are some things that absolutely should make you angry because it's coming against a serious value, a serious moral of yours. And it's okay to recognize that signal. Oh, that's a sign. I need to deal with that. but not dealing with it again, that singeing over and over again, I'll keep on letting it happen and I'm not saying anything, keep letting it happen and I'm not doing anything, then that warning sign gets quieter and quieter and quieter until it goes silent, but it's still hovering. Can you imagine like this quiet rumble inside of a volcano? You may just be walking by it, no problem. Do do do, walking by this volcano, and the whole time it's still hot, still sitting there with something that's destructive enough to kill something and somebody right there hovering under it. And when anger is not dealt with, it's like lava inside a volcano that's just sitting there in one little prick. One thing, one too many rumbles can make it explode. And that's when it becomes destructive. It kills relationships, it can kill so many things. And so we say be angry, but sin not. So how do you do that? Deal with the issue. Recognize your warning signs first. So that's our conclusion for today's episode of recognizing your own anger warning signs. Again, there's so many others that you probably have, and if you have some others, I would love to have you to comment about those in the comment section, for you to put maybe what one of your anger warning signs is that maybe I didn't mention. And we would love to see you back here again for our next episode on Drama is Life, where we talk about tiredness. We talk about that T, being tired. So next week we'll talk about some sleep and how you know when your sleep and rest is getting too stressful, and some of those signals and warning signs as well. Guys, have a great week. Hopefully, aware week of your signals, your stress signals, even more. Now that we've talked about the hungry, stress eating, anger. So now we can, no, I'm sorry, I said the wrong. Next episode is about loneliness and how to recognize the signals of loneliness. So we'll see you next time on Drama is Life. You guys have a great week. Bye-bye.